In the last few days, an adpocalypse has been declared for Twitch as prominent creators have reported declining revenues. Numerous reports have pointed to changes in the content label system and a reduction in available ad spending as indicators that Twitch is currently undergoing a crisis. Dubbed Twitch Adpocalypse, the crisis has been compared to the 2017 YouTube apocalypse. That crisis saw hysteria over ads being served next to sensitive content, causing advertisers to pull out of the platform. YouTubers saw a drop in ad revenue of up to 80%, causing many to retire or switch to a Patreon-like model moving forward. So, if you remember YouTube Adpocalypse, a lot of channels got demonetized. A lot of stuff like gun channels ended up getting caught up in this stuff, and just couldn't come back. They ended up quitting or going somewhere else. But some people are saying that this is brewing right now, and there was a lot of drama on who's at fault for it. Some people pointing to stuff like Asmongold in his comments on Palestine, but many other people are saying that it's really actually some anti-Semitism reports. Then it says right here, within recent reports, behind the declining ad spending is somewhat limited apart from controversial content. Initially, there was some indication that issues came from Twitch's lack of content standards and protections, but nothing exact. Or reporter Devin Nash pointed to the fact that Twitch ad spending will always fall into experimental portion of the company's ad spend, and the exact reasons why even those willing to experiment are leaving somewhat unilluminated. Basically, what this Devin Nash was saying was that Twitch ad spends are not getting the returns that something like a YouTube ad spends are in terms of clicks and follow through, and they don't have good reporting tools. So Twitch's ad system right now is kind of shit, and then you kind of put on top of it some of the controversial content that's been going on, and it's not a good idea. But this was Richard Lewis reported on Monday morning that the showcased that almost a dozen partners have left Twitch over anti-Semitism allegations. One significant example was Chevron, who reportedly pulled their ad over a viral clip that rated content creators from Arab to loves Sabra, which features their logo prominently. Which I had to Google what Love Sabra is. Apparently it's a hummus, but it's like a Jewish hummus or something like that. So it's Arab or Jewish, essentially, is what it came down to. You also have stuff like, people pointed stuff like Hassan, which has been very anti-Israel in his coverage of the Gaza-Israeli conflict. So, that could be another, some people are saying that is also an issue. And of course, there's generally Twitch's adult content problem. There's hot tub streamers and e-thoughts all over the place. So that's not necessarily family friendly. And it was interesting. I watched a video of this guy named Devin Nash, who is apparently an advertiser. Listening to him for 10 minutes, I realized that marketing guys are the absolute cancer of the earth. And I don't necessarily mean that there's an issue with his content, but you can 100% tell just by listening to him that they, work hand in glove with all of this censorship crap. They have no problem this might cause a controversy. Let's just pull all our money out of it. I really don't like the guy, but it was interesting to listen to him talk about, how from the marketing perspective, the advertiser perspective, how it works as far as Twitch's ad system just isn't any good compared to Google AdSense. They don't have ad targeting to where all right, I don't want any of my advertising on anything political. With Google, you can 100% do that, and it won't get there. I only want it on gaming content, so it'll be on gaming content. So there's a lot of work that YouTube has done since the adpocalypse that Twitch hasn't done, because they're just kind of new to the ad game. He's even saying that Twitch might not come back. They're too far behind to make up ground and make themselves good for advertisers. But that remains to be seen. But it is kind of interesting because he he kind of makes I don't know if he like makes it specifically, but he kind of makes the case that the reason like YouTube's been a little bit less restrictive lately is because they've have such good tools to target ads. They don't have to necessarily worry about censoring as much because you don't have to worry about advertisers, being on a sort of like stream where, something bad might take place. Yep, good old Asmongold. So is it over for Twitch? People aren't sure. Is it over for Twitch? Maybe, but not immediately. Twitch has acted this month to expand its content classification label system. The label system has a lot of issues. And just, saying like, hey, politics and Totsub streams won't get ad revenue. It seems like a kind of a ham-fisted way to do it. And of course, people are going to get caught in the crossfire. Another would be to up its on-demand video capabilities, offering shorter videos. Well, that's kind of irrelevant, but yeah, they've got some issues right now, and people are not happy with what's going on. It said perhaps most likely Twitch will fail to adapt. The platform will reduce in quality, likely drop some of its more popular elements such as Twitch Prime subs, and perhaps even CEO Dan Clancy will be on the chopping block. We'll see. But there was another guy, good old Ninja Pirate Software, actually. I'm not particularly fond of this guy. There's just something about him that bothers me. But Pirate Software streamers that a Twitch Adpocalyse is not here yet. An Adpocalyse would be damaging the entire platform as a whole. None of that has been seen yet. There seems to be a lot of jumping to conclusions here. If this was happening in a widespread or apocalyptic manner, we'd see impacts far outside an isolated incidents like we have. So he claimed that they're not an apocalypse coming right now. None of our ad revenue has changed because none of the content we talk about has sexual themes or politics. Our Ferret Rescue is entirely run off ad revenue and is gaining income following the normal yearly trends for October and November. So Pirate Software and this guy, Devin Nash, did a video together, like a podcast together, live podcast. I listened to about half of it, or at least, like 30 minutes of it, half an hour. This Pirate Software made an absolute joke of himself. Like he couldn't answer the breakfast question. Like Devin Nash was saying, like, all right, you're saying that there's no adpocalypse, but I've been talking to advertisers. They already said that they're pulling advertisers. That means you're going to have a drop in revenue. And then basically his response to it, well, I don't see a drop in revenue right now. Like, I'm looking at my numbers are fine. But he's like saying, well, yeah, but that was last month. The next month is when you're going to see the drop in revenue. Like, I've already talked to the people, I've talked to the advertisers. They're pulling out advertising dollars. That's going to have an effect. And then all his response was, well, I don't see those numbers right now. And until I see those numbers, then I can't say whether there's an adpocalypse or not. It was ridiculous. He refused to entertain the hypothetical that there could be a drop in ad revenue. And I think this is mostly because the only thing he can really do right now is say there's no adpocalypse. That's the best thing he can do for his numbers or his money, is to not kind of spread any panic at the moment. It was pathetic, to be honest. If you want to like listen to it, it's probably up if you like searching Devin Nash's channel. I only got through half an hour of it, and I was just like, wow, this isn't a debate. This is one guy like saying like, here's some evidence based on like journalism and my talks from people in the industry, and here's the downstream effects of it. But we don't know how much the downstream effects would be, but there's going to be some downstream effect. And then him just saying like, well, I don't have any evidence of that right now in terms of like the numbers currently on my advertising channel. It was ridiculous. It was pathetic.